Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 4. We're going to be doing another Midnight Hunt Premier draft. Should be the fourth draft in the series. And I have had a couple of you ask if we're going to play Constructed. Yes, I do intend to run into Constructed, but kind of the space we're in is kind of like two things here. I do want the meta game to kind of like shape up a little bit. It's kind of brutal if you're out here trying to like brew in the first week and you don't know what any of the cards are, what the meta's going to look like. I'm not a very premier deck builder myself, and so I like to wait until the first weekend has passed. There's been like a Star City Open, kind of let the format flesh its out a little bit before we start burning through all these wild cards. And then kind of the second thing is our collection is really limited to Midnight Hunt, and so if that's what we're going to be drafting here for the immediate future, I don't want to be spending common and uncommon wild cards on Midnight Hunt cards, and so ideally. We'll be able to kind of build up the commons and uncommons that we need, spend those wild cards on kind of the older sets, and then use the rares and the mythics wherever they're needed. And so hopefully that's kind of the way it'll play out. And so it should be in the next week or so. I feel like we'll be able to start just crafting stuff and jumping in. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this one going. We'll get this purchase confirmed. Get to it. So yeah, we'll say as we wait on the draft to fill, we hope your football team did well. Football should be over by the time this video is out, unless you cheer for the Ravens. Then we hope your team loses. If that's who's playing the Chiefs this week. Hope your fantasy team does well as well. Okay, interesting start. I haven't played Croaking Counterpart, but I don't think it seems that interesting. Not going to run out of our way to take this rare. The one that's immediately sticking out to me is Thermo Alchemist. This dude plays well in so many decks that I'm quite interested in taking it. We would be passing on a play with Fire, which may kind of push our opponents downwind of us into red. A little bit scary, but hopefully with it being this early in the draft, it won't be kind of a giant signal for them. Otherwise, these cards here aren't that great. There's a Siege Zombie, which we do love, but it's not really a first pick quality card. And then otherwise, don't really like too much going on here. I mean, the farmhand is fine. The Bounding Wolf is fine if you're in Werewolves, but being in Werewolves feels ultimately pretty bad. Not a huge fan of things like the Vampires anymore. I just think ultimately the format is very mid-rangey and very easy to just kind of like clog the board. And so I don't want to be jumping into these ultra-aggressive strategies like Vampires. But we'll see. We'll see what shows up here. So we took our Alchemist. As far as these go, Necrosynthesis is pretty meh. The Blood Thief is fine. I don't really want to end up in Vampires, but starting with an Alchemist is a great way to do it. It's just the easiest way to make your opponent lose the life and let you do loss of life stuff pre-combat. But I don't really want to just jump into Vampires in Pack 2. Like, if we were just jumping into Blue-Black Zombies in Pack 2, or Pick 2, then fine. But here at the start, I don't really want to do that. So here, I'm going to take the Lunar Frenzy. I actually have had this card grow on me quite a bit. It's a very easy finisher if you need it to. It's kind of the fireball to the face factor with the X spell. But also giving something first strike for a single red is pretty good, because these fireball-esque spells tend to be pretty bad in the early to mid game. And having that just give something first strike ability early on is pretty good. And I don't really want to have to abandon red this early. So we'll see how these play out. Seeing multiple Diregraph Hordes show up, though, makes me want to jump into black. I'm not opposed to trying black-red and just kind of topping out with the Hordes. I think that might be where we see ourselves ending up. This is a card I'm not a huge fan of having to pass up on. I was hoping that we kind of end up in blue-red, but that doesn't seem to be too open here. And so as far as these other cards are concerned, I'd like to take the Haunted Ridge. We do need to pick up these lands at some point, but there's real cards available in this pack, so we'll let that one go. Otherwise, I mean, these cards are just weak. The only red card in Raise the Effigy is pretty weak. Howl of the Hunt and Pestilent Wolf are both very mediocre. The Diregraph Horde is just the best card here. Okay. So are we gonna jump in on the Vampires? I'm okay with the Voltaren Stinger. The first strike lets these kind of come in and do a bit of work. Could look at something like Novice Occultist, though. there's not a whole lot of like the self-sacrifice stuff in black-red, but this is just a fantastic card in general. We're never going to end up in like white-black with this kind of start, though. I think it's okay to just try and be aggressive from this point forward. I usually get into about pack 3 and just be like, we're not really going to be that aggressive, but let's give it a try here. I think we have a pretty decent start as far as the vampires are concerned. Okay, do like the Vengeful Strangler. This is ultimately just like a really awkward unit for our opponents to have to deal with. Just tends to either get in for a ton of damage or remove their best unit. It's quite good. Easy take here. They're seeing a lot of like just like weak cards overall. This is the first pack that's kind of like stacked with some good stuff in it, with the Candle Trap, Search Party Captain, and the Falcon Abomination. But I think we're just gonna have to be aggressive here now. Are the white cards? I feel bad just passing on these. I really love all the flyers in this format, but I think we're kind of like just in at this point, in on being aggressive. So there is the Arrogant Outlaw, in general pretty weak. Just oh, man, like how would this feel if we'd taken that 1/2 in the previous pack and then took a Soul Grift Guide here, and then say we just give up on red? I think our deck would look a lot better if we're playing kind of a white-black sacrifice. Maybe that's where we'll end up here. These cards are too weak. I feel, yeah. We just let the Alchemist Lunar Frenzy go. Say we're in white-black. We have that 1/2 unit that sacrifices to draw a card. All right, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out here. But ultimately, these aggressive cards feel so weak. Hasn't been anything here to really just like give us the direction to dive in on something, though. All right, well, here we go. I'm definitely happy for multiple Soul Grift Guides. We don't have to be in, white black or white red, but I feel like we're probably just going to move in on white. I know we saw even like Candle Smoke or whatever the 1-cost Sword of Paphicism card is. Yeah, it seems like white is open here. Here comes the Sungold Barrage and the removal spell. Okay. All right, yeah, I think it's safe to say we're going to be drafting white at this point. I'm a little less interested in these red cards. They just aren't as good. I think the Alchemist was a good, maybe, as we see it in pack 1, it can be an activator for a lot of decks, but I think ultimately I'd feel a lot better if we didn't draft the Stinger, took that 1/2 sacrifice thing, and then ignored these red cards and said we're going to be in the Aristocrats deck. I think that's where we are. We're going to be drafting white-black from this point out. Okay, well, not too many interesting cards. I guess we can take one of these red ones just to be sure. But I don't like Blade Brand here. This never makes the cut. And if we catch like a string of really interesting black-red cards, then we might be glad we picked the Foragers here. Alright, let me read this thing again. I'm pretty sure this is terrible. When another creature dies, put a 1/1 on this one. When enchanted creature dies, look at the top X cards of your library where X is its power. I mean, I guess it replaces itself. We'll give it a thought. It's very easy to sacrifice off some of these like decay zombies. I don't think that's where we'll ever end up, but we're not missing out on too much by taking that one. Draw from the cellar is okay-ish. Jesus, look at these 3/2 flyers have no business being a 13th pick. It's insane. All right. Oh my gosh, what are you? Oh, a day-night flip thing. Instants and sorceries are cheaper. I'm not super interested in this guy. He's not ridiculous. So we do see things show up like Vampire Socialite, which is the big vampire build around it payoff. But I think we're good just to take defense straight here. a top quality removal spell. Okay, and then Hungry for More. I don't think this card was actually any good though, right? Create a 3/1 that you have to sacrifice. Yeah, not super interested in that. So we do have our third Soul Grift Guide. That's getting a little out of hand as far as mana is concerned. And so I'm just going to take the Candle Grove Witch here. I think this is kind of one of the premier early-ish plays. We've got another defense streak. Good. I thought we were going to have to take our third Soul Grift Guide, but I saw the removal spell peek its way out here. Okay, then Curse of Silence is a constructed card, right? It enters the battlefield. Name a card. Spells with the name cost more. Okay, yeah, we're not playing that. But here it looks like we're okay to pick up the Hobbling Zombie. It can be okay if we're doing Aristocrats kind of things. Just giving us a sacrificable thing that at least puts something else back onto the board. Let's get these red cards out of here. We're not gonna play these. Alrighty, Search Party Captain's okay, but we picked up another removal in Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Happy enough to take that. Ain't nothing wrong with removal spells. Okay. Yeah, I got 12 cards. How much of this is removal? 1.5 in the Strangler, 2.5, 3, 4.5. That's not bad, right? About a third of our deck. Okay, let's pick up let's pick up another one in the Candle Trap. I think I'm okay with that. At some point, we do need to pick up Siege Zombies. This is going to be kind of our late game is going to be flyers and Siege Zombies to deal the remaining damage. Maybe we need to be real and just go ahead and start picking one up. It's like we see these so late that this feels to me like one of these cards that we're going to be able to get at like pick 8 and 10 now when people are still like drafting for the first time. But then as the format shapes up, this is going to be like a pick 5 or 6, and these aren't going to be coming around as late. I think we're okay to let the little candle thing go away though. Ugh, these cards are all bad. I mean, they aren't bad. They're just not in our colors. I don't want to play Homestead Courage ever. Let's just pick up the Delver. Okay, geez, Devoted Gatekeepers are quite good, but I think we're stuck with just the No Way Out. This is basically kind of like a 23rd card kind of quality, but it's still playable. This isn't a format where Mind Rots are horrible. It's just not exciting. Synthesis says, I feel like this card's going to be horrible, right? There's not too much bounce in the format, though. Ugh, just playing some enchantments. Does have potential to go real big on on a flyer or something, though. We gotta at least give it a shot. Kind of like a card like Blanchwood Armor. Just absurd in certain formats. I don't know if this is a format where Blanchwood Armor would be absurd, but it wouldn't be that bad. There's not too many bounce spells and too many just kill anything removal spells. I wonder as I kind of like re-look at this and think if we should have just ended up in blue-black. I just kind of felt like we were stuck in white since we had that kind of good run where we picked up the Griff and the Sun Gold Barrage, but we've been passing a lot of blue at this point. Some of it was blue-white though, but I know we passed on like 2 of the blue-black zombie flyer. Feels worse than the Soul Griff Guide, but maybe that's where we should have actually ended up. These packs have really dried up for us though. We're just stuck with this turd, whatever this is. These aren't the blue cards that are going to make us want to switch. Maybe we should have remembered that, though. I already shifted off our Gale Drifter as well. We're just going to pick up another one. All right. All right, blue cards. I think it was probably just a weak run. Maybe someone to our left was drafting these, but seeing the Soul Griff Guide show up this late does make me feel a little bit better about it. There is the bait hook angler, but I don't think we're going to be in on blue. I took the Griff Guide. Just such premium top end in this format. We'll let the bait hook anglers hang out for a bit, but I'm pretty sure we're not drafting blue-black. We're still going to be in blue-white. Okay, okay. Anything to make us feel different? There's another 5-cost flyer in here. She's not horrible. Coming down and being a point of removal, but it's like as we start to put these together, it's like if we got another Diagraph Horde, we'd be okay with it, and I don't really want to be playing 5/5 drops, and so I think we could just let the Collector go. We're good enough on that kind of top-end aspect of cards. I think we just want to take... Ooh, so easy. I don't know if it's my mouse or what, but that click happens a lot faster than I really wanted it to. Filament Sage I'm not a huge fan of. Not a huge fan of Rotten Reunion. And then it's like we're kind of almost out of cards after that. The Gavany Trapper should be fine here, though. It's a nice recurring removal spell. Okay, blue, you can get out of here. I think I gave up on the blue a little bit too quickly, but it's not what's happening here. Okay, so there's a Candle Trap, and then a bunch of other bad cards. And so we'll take in the removal. We are short on playables as well. What do we even have in here? Nothing white or black that's even playable. Okay, I think it'll be fine though. We have a big pile of removal, and that's that's all anyone ever needs, right? Okay, so I mean that's what we're gonna get again. We got a that's a Blood Pact. I thought that was the sacrifice removal thing. Let's pick up the Hoppling Zombie. It's a nice little bit of board stall. Back to the Trappers. I could easily see this as being an 18-land deck as well. If we're going to be playing all of these 5-cost cards, especially if we pick up like that Diagraph Horde that was in our initial pack. Maybe this does just turn out to be an 18-lander now that we're trying to include all these Trappers as well. Alright, Heirloom Mirror. Which one are you? Pay life, discard a card, draw a card, mill a card, put a counter on it, and if it has 3 or more counters, remove them all, transform into this rando 4/4 flyer. I think I'd rather just have the Novice Occultist. I mean, it seems fine, but we're already playing kind of like off-the-cuff cards and Necrosynthesis. Here's some more of the white-black build-around cards just showing up at really weird times. The Clarion Cathars. I'm looking towards just the Silversmith to put some stats on our other units. I don't want the Shady Traveler. I think I'd rather have the Silversmith than the Cathar. We don't have the Aristocrats sacrifice kind of cards to really worry about some of that. Ruling Mob is fine. Yeah, I mean, like, the way these cards are coming around, it feels like we might have been in the right place. It's just an awkward set of opens around the table. It's uncommons. It's weird. I guess blue is open when those bounce spells are just showing up right at the end. So yeah, I feel like I want to be the things I have going on here is I want to be playing 18 land. I want to have these card advantage cards in here, so I do want to have Crawl from the Cellar in our deck. I do want to have No Way Out, and then I just want to get some of these kind of middling, dirtily creatures out of here. I think we're fine to just drop to 14 creatures. Let me see here real quick. Trappers are staying. It'll stay. We can get rid of Necrosynthesis. Let's be real. We aren't playing this thing. Occultist would feel a lot better if we had those 2 Occultists, but not what happened. Morning Patrol can go if we need to. Rather have Hobbling Zombie than Morning Patrol. Want to keep our double removal spell and go up to 18 land. I think that's okay. So let's see, where are you at? The Morning Patrol is out. Sure, we'll add in another Plains. Let's get to it. And so yeah, that was certainly a learning experience. I feel like if we got to take this draft a week from now, we would have handled that a lot better. So I wasn't happy with the really just like the one pick I feel like we missed on was that red vampire for our 2-drop thing, that dies to draw a card, and then I think we should have. We kind of abandoned the thought that we could be a blue-black deck a little bit too early. But I think we have a serviceable deck here. I don't feel like this is a 7 winner, but I think we can get our gems back with this one. Let's run the Trapper out here, aggro Trapper. Sure. It's a little awkward running these Stranglers out against their removal spells. We do want to be able to attach it to something, but if his play is to just pass until he can get the Silver Bolts online, I think that's okay. Let's just hold off on the Siege Zombie. I don't want to just be losing things to the Silver Bolts. You get in there, Vengeful Strangler. show him we know how to aggro. Alright, I think this is fine now. We're not tapping anything next turn, and we want to play the Griff Guide on our turn 5. Interesting. Okay. At least glad to see other units come down. The Strangler's just going to be doing 2 damage a turn for the rest of the game. Never blocking. I mean, we can sacrifice this off, but we didn't pick up any real sacrifice your own bros cards. We passed on the mirror. Yeah, let's just prevent a little bit of damage. Sure. You want to block? You want to block that? No? Alright. I mean, seems like a decent board to me. Oh, did we miss it? Oh no, that was just the first Daybreak card. Okay. So I thought we're gonna get a Siege Zombie in here. Ugh, we gotta flip this. We just don't have anything in our hand. At least we could tap it. A little scary though, a little scary. Okay. And we can start getting aggressive with the Siege Zombie now if we want. We gotta follow up. Yeah. Fine, dude. Fine. real close. I mean, we can lethal him next turn. If we get to hit for 3 in the air with the Griff, we'd be one short. I thought we were going to be able to siege zombie them down. Only got 1 card in hand. If he attacks with everything, we have potential to get kills with our 2s. So he's only going to have 1 blocker. Okay. He's only got 1 card left in his hand. All right, well, we got to go for it. We're not winning otherwise. We're not winning this game blocking. Oh. That was a little scarier than I wanted it to be, but I think he kind of got in his head that we were never attacking with the siege zombies. Cool. More wins than 0. All right, what do we got here? That'll have to be serviceable. It turns out to be okay if we pick up a swamp. I want to get the deck together that's good with Unruly Mob. I mean, these were good in the original Innistrad. I don't feel like I've given this a proper shot in the format here. We're just going to be control decking for a while. We're just going to be counting on the Soul Griff guide to do all the work this game. But it should be able to at least remove the Shadow Beast sighting before it gets to flashback. Okay. How do we feel about this? I don't feel like we immediately need to defenstrate this Trapper. That's looking like the unit we're going to hit, but I don't think we have to. I think I just want to play the Silversmith, boost the Hobbling and the Silversmith itself. And then we kind of take board for a little bit until we get our flyers going. Guys, Fiora's best friend from from Runeterra, right? I forget what that guy was called. Laurent Bladekeeper? Is that who we're looking at here? Or Gath? Not a bad deal here, though. But really happy about getting to Griff away the Shadow Beast sighting next turn. Looks like something he'll be able to play. All the big decisions are being made. Not sure what this amounts to. He doesn't tap anything. We're gonna get blown up by some combat trick, right? The tricks don't scare me about this Hobbling zombie. It's just maybe the Silversmith shouldn't be coming in. Okay, yeah. We can defenstrate this thing, since he did that before blockers. Maybe that's just where we're at this point. We can deal with the... we can deal with the Shadow Beast sighting. And then this is just like a huge blowout if he doesn't have the 7th land. which isn't unreasonable to think could be a possibility. But yeah, he should have blocked before he played the Howl of the Hunt. Okay. Get all the cards. So let's see if they got that land. If he gets to play the Shadow Beast, he does. Unfortunate. Interesting crawl from the cellar. Do we have anything worthwhile? We have the Death Touch zombie. We can't get Coven anyway, though. Oh, we could have zombies in this thing to work. We can put it on our Decayed zombie, I guess. It's just gonna have to wait. All right. The one target zombie. Womp womp. Oh my goodness. We played the Griff at the worst time. Deal with these Sarah Angels now. All this stuff. Something double strike? Oh my goodness. Will we ever even be able to Coven for this Candle Trap? Hobbling Zombie is not that good against this board of first strikers. This is brutal. Going to attack with the zombie just to try and get the bonus onto Unruly Mob. We could have put a point onto the zombie first, but I don't really want to crawl from the cellar here. And we have to just save the Candle Trap for his Sarah Angel now. We can kind of deal with this ground-based stuff if we have to, but oh Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Still got the mana to tap with the Trapper. What a ridiculous sequence of events. Our deck certainly isn't this good. We have to block this thing. Or we take 16. Then we have a decent block onto the farmer. But don't get me wrong. Don't act like we're sounding like this is good. Ugh. That was wild. Okay, on to the next one. Run into stuff like that. We don't have like a lot of raw power in our deck. I don't feel like this is going to be one that we take to 7 like we just did with that Sigarda deck. But we have real trouble with stuff like that. But I still think we can get all our gems back on this one. That's the key for a lot of these decks. Okay-ish start. 2 removal spells. Crawl from the cellar is not a good start, but We can stall for a long time here. Sure. Not exactly a candle trap target. Alright, gotta draw something though. You gotta get something. We got a reasonable amount of time here, but you need something to put on the board. We'll go ahead and take this down. This thing's gonna get annoying fast. It is. What else are we gonna do? I think it's okay to miss out on a touch of value here. Losing out on the one counter. Gotta get something going. I don't know what else there is to say about these. 0. Do we really have to candle trap this interloper? Let's give it a couple more turns. Let's fall to like 6 before we decide. Okay, I have to actually do something about this. Do worry. I mean, they've stalled on 4 land, so they're just gonna have gas the rest of the way. Surprised they aren't coming in with the occultist here. All right, fine. Brutal. not where we want to be putting these candle traps. Keeps eyeballing these silver bolts. It's like, yeah, I get you can trade out for our silversmith here. Ugh, come on. What's even in the... Oh, we just don't have any other units in our graveyard. Okay. And more land. That kind of is what it is. I mean, I don't think we can ever mulligan hands like that away when we have 4 land and 2 removal spells. We just kind of low rolled the rest of the way there. Only drawing 1 unit's kind of a pain and a problem. Don't fail us now, deck. I know you can get it. I know you can get us to 4 wins. All right. Well, another less than exciting one, but I I feel like that's what we're going to say about every draw that this deck produces. We don't really have the build around capabilities with like the mobs and the that unit the dude had on board, the 1/2, and then the sacrifice effects. Like, we don't have that big cycle of neato things to be doing. We start with here. Strangler? It's like I don't want to just have to put him on their first unit. Let's do this. Let's add the Candle Grove. We can actually attack with it next turn since it's going to have flying. Right, we can play an Unruly Mob pre-combat and then attack with the Witch. Is this? Add a mana of any color. Okay, add 2 mana to play graveyard spells. Play blue-green and sacrifice. Put an exile into your hand. Not bad. Not bad, I tell you. Alright, well our hand is empty now. We've played everything. Things can only go up from here. Okay. Get him for that damage. You gonna let us removal spell with this thing? That'd be alright with that. Let's go ahead and grab 2 here. Wolf and Tome. Cool. Oh, we didn't have the mana to tap it. I was like, did we really skip over that? Did I think too much about doing things? But no, this is fine. Okay. Oh, we lose out on our flying though. The Unruly Mob picked up a point. F. Alright, well I don't think we'll be attacking here, but we got plenty of time. We can get once we start to get to like tap his units on his turn, we can start attacking with like Unruly Mobs and the zombie and such. This is fine. Gonna tap our tapper. Next level tapping happen here. Sure. We can just defense straight on his turn if that's what it comes down to, but I was kind of hoping to hang on to that. Okay. Take that thing down. We'll do our siege zombie point of damage. The little zombie attack is good now. We do need it to boost our mob. I think this is okay-ish. That'll finally give us back the 3/3 out of the Candle Grove Witch. Getting these little damages in. Do your things, Gas. Do it. Alright, so I mean, if it's kind of this weird space now where he can tap something on our turn, and if he does, I kind of just want to ping. It does let him swing back for a big ton of damage, but I think it's okay. Like, he'll attack with everything except the component collector. We can chunk in some damage. That's scary if he, even if he does that. If he attacks with everything but component collector, then we can actually hit with our other units and maybe offensively tap something. Cool. We up to 2 wins, 250 gems. We need to get down here. This is the big one. Like, it's so brutal if you're only down here getting like the 250 gems. If you can recover up to 1,000, this is the big key matchup for us in this draft. Gets the bard, the frog on her shoulder. All right, that's reasonable. Not a bad start mana wise. If we get the opportunity, if he wants to attack with the sentry, I'll definitely just trade out the unruly mob. We don't have the combos for it. I kind of see like all the cards that we want to make these things work, but it's not where our deck is. I'll trade a combat trick for this as well. So if he wants to play a +2/+2 for 2 mana for the unruly mob, it's kind of the same thing at the end of the day as to where trading 2 mana for 2 mana and a card for a card. It's slightly awkward if they have that flash enchantment that goes on the werewolves, but it's not something you see too frequently. Were they really expecting a no block here? Like, oh, they do have the enchantment. That sucks. All right. I don't think there's much reason to add the trapper at this turn. We can add defense straight and be okay here. At the end of the day, this all turns out the same as well. I mean, five mana and 5 mana for 2 cards and 2 cards. Sure. Get them stats. This guy's been kind of growing on me. He feels like he doesn't really do enough for how expensive he is, but he's okay. Then here we're good to make this attack. They've stalled on mana, and then if their play is another one of these, you know, like +2/+2 enchantments or something, we can get the 2-for-1 off of defense straight. I think this is fine. Then if he has to like come in and ignore here or whatever, then we can follow up with the Diagraph Horde. This all looks good to me. Just get this guy out of here. Now, we do have this second trapper in hand. I'm not gonna play it. If we need to, like blank a daybreak flip, I want to be able to drop the trapper. So if they start playing a whole bunch of wolves, we can't exactly use this thing yet. You combat on your turn. 1-0 in haste. Okay, not bad. We also just don't have the mana to take advantage of this thing yet. Tap out for the horde so we can get this attack in here. It's a little scary in these spots because they can just add. What do we got to take out of here? Good. That should just be the spells. So the vitality, Howl of the Hunt. But no, it's a little scary here in that they can add a haste attacker, but I don't think that's a huge deal. If they want to attempt to be the aggro with their 3 mana, that's completely fine. Just bringing it. There's no 1 mana green combat trick though, right? What am I missing here? For a single green? Say, I don't think there's a trick. Alright, got those gems back. It doesn't have to be a 7 winner to be successful. We gotta take a fairly weak deck like this and recover as many gems as we can. If we can get up to 1400, oof, that'd be choice. Yeah, tear through these platinum ranks. Yeah, not a bad start. Not a bad start. Draw from the cellar is kind of awkward, but we got 3 mana across both colors, a 2 and a 2/2s and a removal. What we need to be seeing. Is there a world where he ever gets to attack? I mean, let's be real, there's not. It's too easy for them to have any 2-drop here that we're never trading. Yep. Go ahead and get him down, though. 3 colors. Oh my goodness. That's not something you see too often. It is tough. It's tough to play 3 colors in this format. That's what happens though when there's no common dual lands. Yeah, maybe he got the FTP bus note on the strength of bird admirers. You have to give him the flip if we don't play cards. Eh. Eh. We can't pass when they have the 2 werewolves on the board. Right, Siege Zombie, it's time to do your thing. Is he gonna give you the bolts? Other spirits get 1/1. Got any of that stuff yet? Doesn't look like it. Right, well you got a lot of work to do today, Siege Zombie. A lot of work. Can't attack just yet with this bird admirer hanging out, but oh, got not all attack. We're getting close. We're getting close to being able to do stuff. Drop the bolts on our trapper. Oh, on our siege zombie. Not real surprised about that. We get to bring him back though. He's too important to not be bringing back. And then what do we think about playing defense straight onto the Bird Admirer? We're about to make a unit big enough to not have to worry about it. Like we can make the Horde a 4/5. But it seems like a pretty low value target to be hitting. I'm gonna save the defense straight. Zombie. And we can actually tap this Wing Shredder. I think this is... No, not attackers, jeez. You can attack before blockers. Let's just go ahead and tap this Shredder. It is nicer to have these taps going on your opponent's turn, but I think this will be okay here. We played the 2 cards, so his Shredder's going to go back to 1/4. We get in for a chunk of damage this way. And then we can block his like 1/4s and stuff with the Occultist. None of that seems too painful. Going on the flyer. Get him. The siege has begun. I assume he'll tap our Diagraph Horde. Yep. All right. Let's see. Let's see how long this can go. I mean, this is not the best in the sense that they have this recurring card draw engine in the Mysterious Tome. We're gonna have a tough time beating that. But one can dream. Could have put the Occultist in front of it to draw a card, but it seems like that's going to be problematic enough. Oh, I guess to hit our Craw from the cellar? That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. Take down this big boy. Okay. That might have been a little too greedy. That wasn't as good as I hoped. We should have just stuck back with that and done siege zombie things. Okay, no blocks. Yeah. I'm liking that less and less and less. I do still kind of have myself in this mindset to where you only get one blocker. Yeah, these are problematic. Okay. Oh, Jesus, what is this thing? Look at the top 5 of your library. You may put 2 permanents with 5 or less cost into play. Ugh. It's not going to be good. Go ahead and let you know that now. It's not going to be good when he flashes this thing back. Need one of our Griffs to show up. Nope. We should just start attacking with these though, right? These get trades. Then we get the little zombie back out of it. So yeah, I mean, I'd like our spot a lot better if we hadn't just traded off our big zombie, but this game's definitely still winnable. He's going to tap our Trapper now, which is kind of awkward, but... Take 8 and fall to 3. We're gonna have to be winning on this turn. Get Storm the Festival. Brutal. Brutal, I say. Defense straight. I don't feel like that's enough. What's this? What side's this on? Mysterious? It's on the draw side. So, I mean, we can kill the cavalry. We can tap the root coil. Then he has a Timberland Guide as his only blocker, which say blocks the hobbling zombie. Okay. You're dead. I think we did it. Trapper, you tap this guy. Six, 8, and 1. Woof. Woof. You do stuff, Bust. You do it. Oh man, you get yourself out of that mess. Can't talk too good about that. We never should have attacked with that zombie, but all right, good. This is much better, much better. I mean, if we convert this into a positive draft, oh buddy, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. See what the old liver's bringing at us. Not a bad start. I was sitting there thinking in that last game, it would be really cool if we could draw a Soul Gift Geist ever. Just at any point in time, if we could stop this flying shenanigans and remove something with the Geist, that would be good. But can't always have it. Alright, welcome to the board, Siege Zombie. You're never attacking, but I can't remember the last time I played a game where I didn't see a 2-drop come down on 2. There's so many of them. This isn't a unit that like I feel really compelled to try and shut down the werewolves for. But this can get nasty fast. If it say like goes to night and then he has just like a rando dude, like I get that he's in green white and probably doesn't have more werewolves, but it's going to be so long that before we could turn it back to day. I worry about that. Big draw on the Silversmith. Big draw. So what if his play here is the 3-2, the 3-2 Flash Wolf? How bad is that to lose the Siege Zombie here? I think it's okay. Yep. I think we're still getting reasonably far ahead on board. If we draw another land. If we miss our land next turn, that's kind of bad. The The game says we're a 47%er to hit one, but he missed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, game. I don't feel like this is worth a crawl from the cellar, so let's pass. Maybe we'll get a shot with a Sun Gold Barrage next turn. It's toughness, not power, right? I was gonna say this thing might go up to 4 power. But let's save the crawl from the cellar for like big flyers and things. The Silversmith is a fine target as well. He did just pick up his 3rd color in the swamp. Oh, do you have a ridiculous ward? Oh, fuck. Okay. Guess we can candle trap it. All right. Oh, at least the big problem for the moment has been dealt with. Never going to be able to flip these things back over. Oh, it puts the... That makes sense. That's painful, that's for certain. Oh, Jesus. You know, we don't have to target it. Like, we can crawl from the cellar back our siege zombie. Don't have any zombies, so we have to skip. Play siege zombie. Pass. So, I mean, not ideal. Like, missing on this 5th land has been really painful. You know, I feel much better about playing 18 land in this deck instead of 17. I feel like that's been the correct choice the whole way, but this has ultimately been super painful. We just have to, like, throw stuff in front of this guy. Let's live dangerously. If he has the combat trick, we're dead, but we run into problems next turn. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we're dead. I'm gonna say. But, like, how are we ever going to win that game if we don't have something go right? Like, if we block both, we come into our next turn, and then, you know, Sun Gold, whatever his dude, and then that takes all of our mana. Like, we're never recovering from that either. So I think we just needed to have that go right if we ever want to win that game. Hey, but not bad, especially with our ultra slow start there. I feel like these are the things that are really important as far as you know, wanting to really grind things out with limited, in the sense that you can't just kind of give up and 1 win these or 2 win these. You really got to punch these into the 3 wins plus are the important ones to, you know, kind of make up, since you only go plus 700 on a 7 winner and plus 300 on a 6 winner. Really painful if you can't at least hit this 4 win mark, but it's disastrous if you're down here with the 0 and the 1s. All right, so I feel like that was a success, at least taking this up to 4 wins. Only losing 100 gems on the trial, and recovering there. It didn't turn out to be the best draft. Oh, did I pass up on the deck? I can get it back. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. This has everything. It has the draft in it, and it has the picks throughout the whole thing. I wasn't sure if this actually lived here or not, but this is perfect. So, yeah, I mean, as far as this deck went, I think the draft in itself went fine, right? I'm happy enough starting off with Thermo Alchemist. I think this is a reasonable card. It's a much bigger build-aroundy kind of thing than you get with Play with Fire. And so I think that's okay to take overplay with fire. There's just like so many effects in this format, like immolation, to where if you want this cheap removal, you can get it. And so the alchemist just plays so well in so many build arounds. I think he's a reasonable take. Otherwise, we aren't missing out on anything here. The siege zombie is the only other kind of interesting dude. Ambitious farmhand is fine, but like we're never coming out here taking like croaking counterparts as our first pick. So I still stand by the alchemist pick. I think that was good. Over here in pick 2. I think this was still okay with the Lunar Frenzy. We did kind of like go back and forth as to whether or not we felt bad about not drafting the vampire cards. I think I need to just accept that like we're just not drafting vampires. I think if we start with I don't even know how it would have to go. Like I think if we start with like a couple removal spells in like red or black, and then the Lord shows up. Like I can't remember his name. If he shows up in here somewhere. Not hungry for more. I know we saw one. Was it pack 3? Was it pack 1 just really late? I can't remember. But you should know what I'm talking about as far as the Vampire Lord is the 2-cost uncommon that does stuff to give them +1/+1. I think that's like how we have to end up in vampires. Is like we start with 2 removal spells, and then that guy shows up like 3rd or 4th, and we say like, okay, well we can just go all in on this. And so I don't think the Blood Thief is really enough to make me want to do it, but this can be reasonable on his own since he just sits around and grows. But I do like Lunar Frenzy. I think this was okay to stick into red. We didn't really miss out on anything here at pick 2 other than Diregraph Horde, and I don't feel like pick 2 is where we really want to be taking these. Then pick 3, this is where we kind of decided, well, we are going to take the Hordes. These are good enough to dive into black. I think this was still fine as well. All of these cards are terrible. And then I think we're coming up on the only pack where I felt really bad in this one, and that was taking the Voldaren Stinger here. I think given that we were looking to move in on black to a degree, we should have just taken the Occultist. It's a strange spot to be in, though, right? Because if you're moving into black-red, that puts you into vampires, but the Novice Occultist isn't a vampires card. The Voldaren Stinger is, and so if we're wanting to like start getting the vampires build arounds, I do think the Stinger and the other 2 drops are really important. There's just like so many good attacks that they can get in the early game, but I think this is tough. I think we should have either said, okay, we're giving up on red, we're drafting black now, just taking the Occultist, or just take an immolation. If we wanted to say take red but keep ourselves kind of open, because the Stinger is a fairly weak card to a degree, but I don't like this. I think we should have either taken the Occultist or the immolation, and then once we moved on, got stuck with the Strangler. I think this is where we should, I think this is the point where we should have kind of realized, okay, we want to be in black. Our black is good. Our black would have looked especially good if we had that 2-drop, but then we also see the Falcon Abomination and Candle Trap. So I think that should have been our indicator that, hey, we're not playing red anymore. We need to, kind of move out into these other strategies. And then once we picked up into white-black, I think it turned out okay. But, I mean, we are seeing like blue-black cards that can be decent. I do think like blue-black would have turned out okay. Baithook Angler isn't enough to take over a Soulgrift Guide. Revenge of the Drowned isn't enough to take over the Soulgrift Guide either. But we did start seeing like blue cards at some point that made me kind of consider we were in the wrong place. But I mean, look at this. Like these cards aren't good outside of the Soulgrift Guides and the Sungold Barrage. I think everything that we did there was okay. I think we did belong in blue-white. We did just start to see these things like this 14th pick Gale Drifter that made us really question whether or not we were in the wrong colors. There's the Vampire build around, I think, the Socialite. But yeah, I think it turned out okay after that. We just locked in on blue-white and went with it from that point. Or black-white and went with it. It was a little unfortunate. We didn't have enough of like the build around stuff. This was kind of a, hey, I have removal spells and hoping kind of dream. But that kind of is what it is. It took us a really long time to get into this. I still think if we're out here drafting blue-white, we're really looking for a lot of the... Can we get back to the deck? Here we go. If you're looking to do the white-black build around, it's of course going to be focused on Unruly Mob, that 1/2 that dies to draw a card, and then the sacrifice effects. But given like this deck that we had here, I think we were looking to be in kind of like white-black flyers with siege zombies in it, and so I would have been happier if we had more like Candle Grove Witches. I was happy with the Soul Grift guides. If we'd picked up that the 3-cost 2/2 flyer that blinks something, I think that would have been nice. But I think that's where we, kind of landed, was in black-white flyers. Not really an actual archetype, but just a collection of good cards. So, nonetheless, I'm happy with how that turned out. If we land in light black and don't have any of the build around, I think that turned out okay. And then as far as the packs go, we have an actual ton of packs. I went and looked up all the codes you could redeem. So we got a ton of these. Hopefully this will help us build the old collection a little bit quicker. I'm not sure, how deep these go as far as the new constructed goes. I know the set's just rotated, and I don't know how many of these are still in constructed. But I mean, hey, we're out here picking up some wild cards. What more could we ask for? That's how we're going to get ourselves into constructed. Yeah, see, we're picking up rare and mythic wild cards. It's exactly what we need. Proliferate land. I don't think we get any usage out of that stuff. Ew. Flying, first strike, vigilance. Wasn't this card decent? Brew fourth. Effing expensive. I can't imagine that was decent. What do I know? What do I know? All right. Of course, that 2020. We're in 21. There's no way these cards are legal. Steel Overseer will help us get our affinity decks together. Rando Angel, looking good. What else do we got? Comes in tapped unless you control a mountain. Alright, we'll get ourselves some mono red together at some point. So many cards, just so much to soak in. I realistically haven't played. I think I did a bunch of like Core 21 drafts there for a bit, but outside of that, I can't remember like the last set when I was competitively playing Magic. It wasn't for any of these cards, that's for certain. That's scary. What the fuck is that? Like King Kong with a weird mouth. Alright, what else we got? More rares. We're looking for the mythics. I played a ton in the original Theros when the old pack rat meta, but what else we got? When you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Companion. I do remember all the hate about Companion. Glad I didn't have to play through that. It seems like people were mainly happy. Like there was, I guess, the set of cards that were just overpowered compared to the everything else, and so those have been kind of flushed out of standard. I had to deal with that before. There was Urza's Saga, or the Urza's Block, I guess you should say, which was just completely OP and had the massive round of bannings, and then the next set came out, the Masks block with all the rebels, and they're like, all right, well, we're not we're not having OP cards. That was just like one of the lowest power level blocks ever. People are playing this a lot in Constructed. I think that was a reasonable pickup, right? I saw the Scavenging Ooze as well. I don't know if he's still modern playable or not, but all right, we'll get us some stuff. Should be close to Constructed. I feel it. Where are these at? Where are these cheap commons at that I need for our Constructed deck? Give us that good stuff. Picking up the rare wild cards while we're at it. Getting some dual lands. Feels good. Kaladesh Remastered. What's that? Oh, this is land. I didn't get to read it. I don't know if it's my mouse, how my clicks work, or if it's just the way this is, but I have a real tough time just clicking to flip the card and then having it stay on the page. Yeah, I guess we're not going to read you. Maybe I'm clicking in the wrong place. I don't know. I'm clicking off to the side instead of on the card. there's a mythic. Rando Tybalt. Huh. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. You exile something. He played as Tybalt. Yeah. A lot going on there. I'm sure it does something. This is like, oh, that's too much text for Bust. Get that out of here. The Biblioplex. Everyone's favorite biblioteca. Huh, okay. I'm just so unfamiliar with all of these old cards. There's a mythic. That's not it's not a cat. It's kind of the problem with this thing. Whenever opponent attacks one or more of your planeswalkers, they get a loyalty. Becomes target of a spell, draw a card. You're understated though. It's some planeswalker I've never heard of. Me and Luca here got a similar haircut. He must be in his mid-30s. Just going gray everywhere. The Risalto, the Fire Duke. Oh gosh. They said we're opening too many packs. Gotta stall it. That doesn't look interesting. I can assure you that card was no good. Mythic wild card? Alright. Okay, good. We got the open 10. Doesn't take us long. Pithing Needle, I remember you. Some kind of mythic angel. Return up to 2 creatures with mana 2 or less to the battlefield. Understated though. Counterpart, we've seen Lisa, Curse of Silences. Okay. I'm at least familiar with a lot of that. If you weren't, you have to pause the video. Cigar to Splendor, never playing that. What else we got? Almost here at the end. 2 packs to go. Pick up a mythic here. I think this is my second one for some reason. Primal Adversary, and the last one. Something choice, I'm sure. Got a mythic wild card on the right at least. And Slowguk, the Overslime. Alright. Well, that is going to do it for us today. So, I hope you all learned how to make the best of the worst. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.